His name is Dennis Ball. His show must go on. The yellow belt just floats and serves up mad dad jokes. The score is 40 love to me.
I hear you breathing.
He's the Wimbledon of comedy. He does the interviews that make your POV.
But I don't hear the live
Celebrity. Oh, baby, can't you see? The score is 40 love to me. He's the Wimbledon of comedy.
Hello? Okay, I can't hear you. Can't hear anything. Not seeing anything coming out of you.
Check 1, 2. There we go, baby. Welcome, ballers, to the Dennis Ball Show. And you can tell we're very technically advanced here on the USS Subscribe. And I gotta tell you guys, I have a great episode for you guys here from our ship. If you subscribe and click the like button, it would be much appreciated, because when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to make a special video where my creator reveals his face and shows how this program is made, which is going to be super cool. But in the meantime, hold on. Who's in the chat? We got Georgia Constitution Media in the house. What's up, Paul in Long Beach? Oh, hold on a second. I am being hailed. Ensign, on screen. On screen, I said. Hold on a second, Ensign. I said on screen. Oh, hey! It's Steven Riff-Siphon Greenwood, the king of Star Wars, who actually was one of the co-founders of Wookieepedia. Welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for welcoming me back. How you doing?
They're good. Thanks for coming back to talk about Obi-Wan. Yeah. And we have a lot to talk about here, so we're going to go right into it, man.
All right.
First of all, we're four episodes in here, and ballers, there's going to be a lot, spoiler alert, there's going to be tons of spoilers. Everything will be spoiled, so don't even watch it if you have a concern about that, okay? All right, so with 4 episodes in, there's a lot to unpack. Like, what's your immediate takeaway? Like, what do you feel about it? Are you engaged? Are you loving it?
I mean, I'm liking every minute of it. I'm super engaged. I know it's been extremely controversial for some people for whatever reason.
Has it been?
I mean, it's a minority. I don't believe the majority of people, have these opinions that they have to respond to, with the feedback, that unfortunately Ewan McGregor had to post a video saying, things about people who are claiming to be fans who are not, and it's just honestly,
really?
With the whole Reyla situation, we shouldn't let that control what we're talking about, because honestly, I believe it is a great program. I think that they put their heart and soul into every minute.
Yeah, we get you basically get people who complain about it no matter what, and they say that But I'm loving it. I feel like it's gritty and has a lot of the elements that make Star Wars as special as it is to me. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I think it really is capturing the spirit of Star Wars. Obviously, it's set in between episodes 3 and 4, so you're going to have elements from the prequels blending into elements of the sequels, and we can just see that relationship right now. We can see that this is the midway point between those two films. And we're in the deep Imperial era at this point, and seeing how the Empire is affecting things around the galaxy at this stage, 10 years.
Yeah, that's true. It's deep in the era of the Empire. Hold on, So Reva, you mentioned Reva is, aside from Obi-Wan, basically the central character of the show. Hold on, I have a image here, but I have to drag it over so that we can just show her.
Mm-hmm.
She Moses Ingram. She's
Mm-hmm.
quite good. I mean,
Oh
I,
gosh, deliciously evil. I mean,
yes,
she's playing such a great bad person, right? I mean, that's the idea behind playing a villain, is that they're not going to be the nice person. She is slicing off hands. She's torturing children. She's, bad. She's bad
right.
mama jama. And
She
saying
really
that,
is.
but I love that about the character. I love that this is such a passionate, a person who's really taking it personally. And as we see in the show, she's being commanded by Vader to do his bidding, and Vader is very dedicated to getting Obi-Wan. This is why she's dedicated at going after Obi-Wan. The rest of them don't understand that. They're not in the loop. And I believe that we're going to see that, she was his personal protege, maybe trainee that he started with, and then she just got molded by him, and now, is trying to take a position of Grand Inquisitor as being part of Darth Vader's lackey, really.
Yeah, and it really shows that miscommunications at work can really lead to problems. Because he's not telling the other people. He tells brother number 5 that he's the next in line, and
right,
so
power struggle in between them. But that's also the nature of Sith. Sith always crave control and crave power. So if they're not true Sith, even the dark side characters will be coveting that power and that responsibility. They want to be leading this initiative, and if they can't have it, they'll do anything they can to push somebody else out of their way. And that's just the nature of it.
They're twisted. They're mentally twisted and spiritually. And that guy, they almost look like living corpses in some cases. That guy, first of all, the Grand Inquisitor actor is incredible, and it's so funny because it's like the old Star Wars, the old British accent guy as the evil guy gets killed by the new, like, young and up and coming woman of color who's ready to kick butt. I don't know. You could say that's symbolic. I just pulling that out of my butt. But I thought that was really a cool moment I wasn't expecting at all when she killed him.
Well, I mean, and if you know canon, if you know what has already been revealed in Rebels, that Grand Inquisitor is alive in Rebels, which is set after this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
really?
There's something happening that we haven't established yet. We have 2 more episodes to figure that out. But Grand Inquisitor comes back one way or another. It's possible he could be a clone, could be resurrected. We're really not sure, but he looks a lot different in the clone in Rebels than he does in this show. So that could be a reason for it.
I mean, when you see him come out, he looks a lot like Darth Vader, and he's wearing. It's cool because one of the, as a cosplayer, I know one of the things that I noticed that I know you'll be thinking about because I know you do cosplay and you're in the Georgia 501st was some of the really cool like Rava's uniform first of all, but then the Grand Inquisitor comes out and it's like a variation on Darth Vader's robes. And there was also some instrumentation on his chest, which made me wonder if he was also a severely maimed guy who was like Darth Vader on severe life support, which might explain why he could survive something like that.
I mean, well, okay, first off, he's a Palin, which, other species from, one of the species from Utapau.
Okay.
The Palins, right? So you'll see one of those guys in Revenge of the Sith when they land on Utapau looking for General Grievous. They have the weird teeth, they have the striations on their foreheads and everything, and apparently they have like multiple body parts. I think it's like multiple hearts or livers or maybe stomachs, I think.
Right.
So just simply getting impaled may not be enough to kill the creature, to kill that species in particular.
Right.
That could be one way. Also, he apparently served as a Jedi at the temple as a guard. So he was one of the guards that was masked and then was converted to the dark side. So he could have been injured in that incident, and then, that could be used to help prolong his life, or it could just be for flair, for flavor, because that's, how the Empire rolls, right? Put everybody in these dark black suits with these giant shoulder pauldrons on them, and they look tougher than they actually are. But not to say these guys aren't tough. They're seriously, they're a Grand Inquisitor, and definitely earn the right because they're you're immersed in the dark side, they know how to use the Force. So you still
You know,
don't underestimate.
I had a joke about the Inquisitors, but I didn't want to force it, you know? Because then they would detect me and find me, Steven. All right, so you notice I didn't do a set of chuckle balls. I'm squeezing in a couple jokes between.
Right. It's much more efficient.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of which, hold on, let me go back to my notes here because I have so much to talk about.
Oh, and I can even take my shirt off while we're transitioning. So.
Oh yeah, so that whole we were talking about world building. And one of the things I thought was really cool was at the beginning, they show he's working on this meat farm. And you get a sense of not only how the Empire is working, because the foreman is mean and the people are suffering, and he's got to steal pieces of meat for his little animal, which I didn't even take a screenshot of because it died so quickly. I just thought it was really cool that they showed this. They're cutting these squares of meat. I don't know, man. I just thought that was neat. But then at the end, they go home and they leave their meat just sitting out there. What? Do you think the next shift was coming in?
It could be a shift thing. I'm not sure. That looks like maybe they're harvesting the meat of a crate dragon. So if they're setting up shop next to all those fins, which looks like they're carving out a crate dragon, that explains why there's so much meat in one place. Maybe it doesn't spoil because it's a different creature, and like you said, maybe it's somebody else is coming in to do their shift. Maybe they have a night shift that works on it. They can't afford to really break away from it because it would get ravaged by marauders or Tusken Raiders or somebody else. Right,
they're just gonna keep.
Pikes might come in. Who knows?
It was cool though. I thought that was a neat bit of of world building, and
just seeing a job, just a normal job on a desert planet.
And and then the guy, they are all taking the bus to work.
He's trying to blend in. He's doing the best to not be noticed, and he's losing his powers just by doing this monotonous day-to-day work shift. Really, you see later on in the series that he can't use his lightsabers effectively. He's lost his ability to.
He's basically lost it from not practicing. Yeah,
he's disconnected himself from the Force. He can't even communicate with Qui-Gon.
Man, I had a joke about the Jedi, but it was hunted to near extinction. So in any case, all right. But speaking of Jedi, I really liked how they portrayed Luke and Leia. How they portraying Luke and Leia as youngsters.
We had a very small instance of Luke and a lot of Leia.
Yes, but the little Luke bit was so tantalizing, and I believe he's wearing goggles and he's sitting on the edge of his uncle's hut and riding it like it's a speeder bike or something.
Like it's a pod racer.
Yeah, exactly. It was a cool moment, and it was tantalizing, right? I thought we would get more, but we didn't. But that's cool.
Yeah, but maybe that's all we needed because that was the tease. People were thinking that, this is going to be about him just watching the kid on Tatooine, and lo and behold, we get a nice little curveball thrown, and it's about saving Leia, who is the other child. So I find it was very smart to do with that, because it's possible there may not have been much to work with, actually, regarding Luke. I think the fact that we went into Leia was a smart decision, and now we can see that relationship that they have, and you can understand why she called him at episode 4 and said that he was her only hope, because she now has this relationship with him. She knows that he's Ben Kenobi.
Oh wow, that's right. I'd never even thought about that.
There you go.
I have to take a quick second to say hi to Michael Andrews. What's up, brother? And what's up, Georgia Constitution Media? And other people in the chat, thank you for joining us. I thought that it's funny because the young lady who plays Princess Leia does a great job.
Lyra.
I mean, she might be. And I say that not only because she's a kid. I mean, she obviously gets what they're going at. They want to make her a really independent and strong character and stuff, but I have to say there's a couple points where she toddles. She says something really strong and then she toddles away like a little kid.
She's still a 10-year-old.
Exactly, and a small 10-year-old.
Yeah,
But good for her, man. She's killing it.
She knows that she's going to be in a position of power as the princess of Alderaan.
Right.
But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, she still gets caught up in this because she's a child and she can't escape, fully grown adults, even if they happen to look like Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Which
That was one of my,
cool to see Flea again.
All right, well, so I'm going to save that because that's actually on my list of missteps. I think Flea is a terrible actor.
But he's a really good mercenary.
Yeah, but yes, maybe, but I found him extremely distracting.
Okay. I mean, I
I
already know him from other things, and yeah, maybe it's the fact that he's too famous could have distracted from it.
Right? Yeah, I'm thinking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but that's fine. I'm not going to complain about it. Also, I'm just gonna go through a couple of things that I thought were cool, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Freck.
Oh, that was his name, Freck.
Freck, who is Zach Braff.
Right, voiced by Zach Braff, who everybody thought was actually Seth Rogen. For some reason, his voice was modulated in a way or deepened that it sounded like somebody else, and that's who I thought it was initially, was Seth Rogen. So that's amazing that Zach Braff was pulling that voice.
He
off.
was good. He did a good job voicing Freck, and Freck was. It's funny. At first, I thought it was Frick, and then I realized that I remembered Boba Frick from the other movie.
Well, Frick
and
is
I was
an
like,
expletive in the Star Wars universe.
I was like, what the frick?
Yeah, I think that actually is like Frell and Frick, and there's a whole host of alternative cursed words in the Star Wars universe.
So then we all know that Freck is a good Empire guy.
Oh, he's an Imperial mole.
Oh, that's a great job. Thank you so much. And then he picks up stormtroopers, and they all are like, "What's up, Freck?" And he's like, "What's up, Stormies?"
Yeah, you're seeing the guy with that sticker on the back of his truck, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be great."
And we're gonna go. Yes, exactly. And I want to talk about stormtroopers in a second, but back to Freck. He drives them, and then he turns them in like a jerk at the checkpoint, right?
He's just doing his Imperial citizen. That's just what he's supposed to do as an Imperial citizen.
And it was a cool. What's up, Lisbon? And then the laser gate.
Oh my gosh, laser. The mess that happened at the laser gate.
The laser gate. Now you can see what I'm getting at. I loved this scene because the stormtrooper fell through the laser and got chopped in half, as you can see there next to that highlighter shows where the laser was.
Oh, yeah, but that's after. Are you trying to indicate that they could have just walked around the laser?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
They could have just around the laser.
No, but they weren't driving. They were not with the car anymore. Obi-Wan and his girl, his young charge.
Oh, okay. So they're on
simply like spent some time trying to turn it off, and then he blew it up. But then at any point, this wide shot shows they could have just walked around it easily. Am I wrong?
I guess if they thought they were initially going to keep the vehicle, but
yeah, maybe they were working on that.
That even happened. I mean, yeah, if you're going to try to take the vehicle to get out of there, you're not going to walk out of there. And maybe that was the goal, but because they were completely surrounded by stormtroopers, they kind of changed their idea on the fly.
And Freck just got knocked out. He didn't actually get killed.
Well, yeah,
I watched it to make sure.
Maul doesn't need to die. All he did was just help the Imperials. That's all he did.
So back to the early part. One thing I just wanted to say, I really liked this Haja fake Jedi guy.
Yeah, with the magnets and the automated windows and things that would respond. So he's like, he's conning people into thinking that he's a Jedi, but he's still helping them.
But he's still a nice guy. Yeah, he's still helping in some way.
He just needs a little bit of money. That's the thing. He's kind of gray in that regard. Like, he'll help, but at a cost.
But he was a cool. I mean, then that I thought was good world building, and I think this sort of shows a little bit of grittiness being introduced, which I was proud of Disney for doing.
Oh, right. Seeing
the
that
killing guys left and right
with the laser too.
Yes.
They're not
graphic
afraid
on
to
Disney
hold back.
Plus.
I mean, the whole episode 3, the whole third episode was just bonkers.
Yes. All right, let's talk about it. How mean Vader was.
Vader's a son of a bitch. Vader.
This whole thing.
Vader,
okay.
right? Just walking into the village, he knows that Obi-Wan's there. He knows that he's hiding right around the corner, and he just destroys everybody around him, snapping necks like you're showing there. Choking people.
Dragging this woman.
Right.
It's chilling to watch.
This is exactly who Darth Vader is. We don't see enough of this, but Darth Vader will destroy an entire village to make a point.
Yes, exactly, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
Jesus out of Obi-Wan, you can actually see the terror on Ewan McGregor's face. It actually reads off as legitimate, genuine fear, because we're witnessing this, we're seeing this, and if I had this similar reaction, I imagine if Ewan's like standing aside viewing something similar, yeah, he's giving a great performance, showing that he is just deathly afraid of this thing that he created. Like Vader says, I am what you made me.
And he's like, what am I going to do? Like, do I run out and help these people? Like,
he couldn't reveal himself, but at that point it was already too late. Vader already knew he was there.
Oh, my gosh. It's brutal. Yeah. It's absolutely brutal. And then, they run away, right? Leia runs away with Nala. Is that her name? I gotta say, I'm not honestly on top of all the names, but that is probably who it is. Tala. Okay, Tala is the name of the woman who's like an Imperial, and she switched sides, which I thought was cool too. I mean, it is very much like a fantasy story, but it's nice when they show more than just bold black and white. There's shades of gray all over. Well,
right. I mean, if she was an Imperial spy, or if she was a Rebel spy, infiltrating the Imperials, she indicated in the 4th episode that she was never with the Imperials, and Reva, basically considered her a traitor. Initially thought, that she was on their side, and then switched over, but it was the other way around. It sounds like she was more of a rebel, and then she became an Imperial spy to get as deep as she did. To get those code cylinders, to have the entire legion of troopers in front of her. Well, not legion, but, a squad, and gain their trust. And then, at the last minute, of course, she reveals who she actually is. But it's nice to see characters like that.
And then she's taking Princess Leia to the spaceport to meet a pilot, and this happens, and I want your reaction to this.
Is this video?
No, she says, keep running till you reach keep
I
running till you reach the port. A pilot will meet you there. So she sends her a 10-year-old who basically is not a very good runner, let's face it.
Are you talking about the escape scene on Alderaan?
Maybe sees the costume, maybe it's the costume, maybe she's just a little kid, but she says to her, listen, go to the spaceport. Like, literally says to her, go to the spaceport, a pilot will meet you there. No name, she doesn't tell her what the guy looks like. The pilot isn't expecting a child, she's expecting Tala, and I just was like, you're really gonna let baby Princess Leia go by herself to the spaceport to meet the pilot? Did you think that was weird?
Well, we saw that at the end of the tube was the person that she was supposed to meet.
Right.
So they were waiting for at the end of the tube, which
he was right there. He was right there.
Yeah, he was dead. So Reva caught up with him and killed him. That was the person that she was supposed to meet. So she would have run into him eventually at the end of the tunnel. I think that's what the other person implied, is that you're not going to look for this random person. Like, they're just waiting by the door for you.
Right.
So they, Reva figured it out because she recognized that symbol. Because I believe that she was one of those children in the Jedi temple.
Oh, man.
Wow. You noticed that there were 5 children in there.
Yeah.
And one of them was an African-American child, right? So, that would imply that Reva could have been one of those. And if she recognized that symbol, then that would explain that she knows something about the escape tunnel, or maybe where that was going to line up.
Right, and she has strong feelings around it now, and
she could just sense through the Force. She's so strong that she could figure out where that person's going.
And don't forget your CD Walkman.
Oh, the droid. Uh, yeah, this
Lola.
right. I had one of those actually.
Yeah,
with the anti-shock.
I did too.
Yep.
It looks like, I mean, it's obviously CGI, but in an ideal world, it would have been a practical prop and probably made out of a
I think
CD.
there's practical props. They already have one that Hasbro's trying to release. It's a practical toy. So I think it is a physical prop.
And then I thought this was kind of cool. You tell me what you think of this.
Sure.
Now, I love the beginning. You know, like in the Marvel movies, they have the intro section and they show just light. In the Star Wars one, they just show light going over metallic-looking like portraits of characters, right? And this one pops up, and it's Lola with her wings up. Do you think that is a reference to the mouse, to Disney?
Oh, with the two ears. I mean, it's subtle. It could be. I'm not sure. In regards to how Doug Chiang usually is the designer on a lot of these things, it would be interesting to see if they have any feedback on the design of Obi-Wan.
Because the thing has those wings that go up, but it doesn't usually look like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, those are like the back wings, yeah, I'm not really sure if that's a deliberate Disney reference or not.
I just thought that might be a hidden Mickey.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it could be hidden Mickeys. You know, those things are hidden all over Disneyland, Disney World. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But in terms of like story for content, I mean, it's really fascinating to see that the last scene of the 4th episode shows that now it's the Imperial spy.
Right. Yes, exactly. And I'll actually show that I think I grabbed that.
Oh, you did grab that one with the red eye?
No, that screen grab.
Uh-huh.
I thought I did, but I'm not seeing it here. Okay. Hold on a second. I might have it. But yeah, that was good.
How do you know the tracker's on the ship? It's like, oh, the tracker's on the ship. There it is.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bad guy, and it was funny how it was a little bit. I thought it was. I also actually chuckled to myself when it lit up red because I was like, "That's like the classic Universal symbol of the computer has gone wrong."
Yeah, the HAL 9000.
It's gone evil. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't help you with that.
Yeah, exactly. The Universal. The red light is on.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, he must be evil. But it was cool. Yeah,
the color scheme of red is generally denoted to be the Sith, the dark side. You know, what we consider the evil side.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's just, and that's also the color of the probe droid's eyes as well. Those are also red.
And so she gets captured, and she's in. This was very she's in the base on Nur, the water moon, which I'll show in a second.
Yeah.
But this was a kind of cool throwback to the first, episode 4, New Hope.
Yeah, a lot of Imperial design is going to remain similar. They're not going to change. Even over the course of 10 years, they're going to build a lot of their starships and their battle stations to have a similar feel with those angles, with those lights.
Right, they have standardized doors, everything's, the table, but it's just interesting how, because she was interrogated, It's
about efficiency, it's not about expressionism. But it's very concrete.
But it was cool that, we got a new environment. Which Nur, the water moon, and those new characters.
A lot of water planets in the galaxy, but we don't usually get to see them. And this had shown up previously in Jedi Fallen Order, so people like to talk about this being visited. This building in particular, the Inquisitorius, headquarters, like 5 years prior to that.
Right. Okay, that's the Inquisitor's headquarters.
Yeah, I guess we will say the Inquisitorius Fortress, I think is the name for it.
Interesting.
And it actually goes underneath the surface, and that's where a lot of the chambers were located, and where that whole graveyard was located was like underneath the water.
Yeah, the graveyard reveal was a huge one. Now, were those all slain Jedi? Is that what that was?
Apparently one of those was Tanube. I'm trying to think of his name. He was the Jedi that helped Ahsoka find her lightsaber.
Okay.
So he was apparently down there, and then one of the children with the training helmet.
Was one of the kids.
In there, and then some other people I didn't quite recognize.
Why do you think they're in there? Why do you think they have them in there?
Because they're trophies.
It's just for some sick...
Yeah, they're showing them off like little butterflies, or like your bug collection. These are basically their Jedi trophies. They captured them, they killed them, and now they're on display down here in this hall. It's pretty perverted, isn't it?
Man. It is, and I thought it was cool that how it goes underwater so much, and it was, how far down does this go? Mm-hmm. Tala says at one point, which was a cool concept, that it just could keep going and you don't know,
what secrets lie underneath the waters.
Yeah, how far down it goes. And, speaking of, we were talking about Princess Leia before, and speaking of the Skywalker twins, I had a joke about them, but it hasn't matured yet. So in any case, so he swims into the base.
Yeah, and I think the breather is actually the same one he used in episode 1.
And he swims into the base after he goes into one of those healing tanks with Tala. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, no, that's later. I'm sorry. He swims into the right. This is the Darth Vader battle's at the end of the 3rd episode, right?
And that's when he has to go in the bacta tank. So at the beginning of the 4th episode, he's in the bacta tank.
Okay,
then
yeah.
Go to Nor to rescue Leia. So now he's swimming in actual water instead of just bacta.
So we'll talk about this for just a second, because I want to go back to the Vader battle in the 3rd. But there was a lot of talk about the fact that he swims in, and like James Bond, in that one he swims into the base, and then he takes off his wetsuit and he's wearing a tuxedo.
Which movie was that? I forgot which film that was.
It was oh my gosh, I want to say Dr. No.
Was it the first one?
No, I don't think Dr. No is the first one, but I didn't prepare for James Bond on this.
That's like 1961, right? That's the earliest one. Dr. No. And then
it may be. It was like he swims in, he climbs up, and then he takes off his stuff, and it's like his hair is combed and everything. But same thing with this. Obi-Wan comes out to rescue her, and he's dry as a bone. Well, which I guess he used the Jedi powers. Can they do that?
We'll suspend our disbelief a little bit.
I know. I just thought that was fun. I love things like that. and then
Space Fantasy. Remember?
I know. I'm not really. I enjoy it. I just think it's
fun.
It's fun. It's fun to talk about. Like then the part where the window busts and like 1 billion gallons of pressurized water explode into the compartment, and he outruns it. And then shuts the door, and no water comes through the door. It's just, and he's still dry. Talk about slick. Did you notice that?
I mean, I watched it.
He was right in front of that wave, Steven.
They timed it very nicely.
Yeah, and she was smashing the door, and it just happened to close right. Yeah, But that's how these things go. It's fun. I mean, it's part of Hollywood, but I thought it was funny.
There's going to be some fantastical portion to it. Not everything is going to be realistic. I mean, we're talking about space wizards here, right? So
yes, of course.
At some point, you just have to let go. You just have to pretend that some of these things...
Yeah, you have to say, oh, well.
Yeah, oh, well, right? That's not going to ruin the continuity for me or the story. It's all about the flow of how you're filming it and how you're presenting it. And there's things to be said about how they could be presented. I mean,
and this, exactly. And there may be moments. You're absolutely right, man. Because there may be moments where it's like the actors don't know, the script writer doesn't know, like that. They're gonna do an aerial shot of the laser gate and make it look ridiculously obvious that they could have just walked around.
Right,
and they could have.
Maybe there's a miscommunication there, and that's just because we're human. We're just
and they could, and they could have. They should hire aliens to do it. Yeah. They could have just photoshopped in some things, but the people weren't thinking about it.
Could have been a minefield. We don't know if there was a placement. Other lasers.
See that? Good for you, man. Thank you for.
I mean, I'm the apologist, right? So I'm always going to find some way. I should just write Star Wars books at this point.
The novels, I like those. All right, hold on. you want to talk about the Vader battle?
Oh, yes, let's talk about the Vader battle. Oh,
And
wow.
then we can talk about how it all wrapped up, and then we'll do the memes, because I know there's probably stuff that we didn't talk about. You wanted to talk about stormtroopers.
I mean, the whole sitting down with them, it was really tense. You know, 'cause you're like, don't say the wrong thing. And, of course, you know, what even Obi-Wan screws up her name and then has to come up with a story, you know, to keep his cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I like that. They showed them in normal working situations, and you know, the different stormtroopers had different personalities more than they did originally. I like it. Yeah,
they're not clones.
They're people.
Oh, but speaking of clones, you
remember the bum clone.
The bum, well, yeah, the homeless clone that was homeless. On Daiyu. Was that the planet Daiyu at least? Mm-hmm. And, of course, it was Tamara Morrison that played him. And he was wearing 501st colors. He was wearing the blue armor of the 501st Legion. Was that intentional? I mean, if they knew which color they were going with, that would have been one of Vader's personal troopers during the Siege of the Jedi Temple.
But did they know it was a 501st thing, do you think, or not really?
I'm sure someone is on this. I mean, the Leyland Shi, Pablo, you know, all those guys over Lucasfilm working out the details. I'm sure that was a deliberate reference. But of course,
that's cool.
We don't actually know unless we ask them, right?
All right, so let's talk about the Vader battle, which was, when that happened, it was super exciting to me because I was like, here we go. It's happening already,
He's hunting him down. He's just stalking him like a predator in the dark. He knows he's there. Obi-Wan can't go anywhere.
And it's right after Obi-Wan talks about the Force being like when you're in the dark and you turn on the light, and how do you feel when you turn on the light? That's what the Force feels like. He says that. And then I didn't even think about the fact that it's like the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. And then how they shoot this, it's like, you know, it's really dark. Mm-hmm. Okay, this whole sequence. And then, you know, there's moments where like light blazes forth, you know. And it's a very cool, like, there were a lot of great shots in this. It was really well shot. I loved this moment.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. Where they're in the corner there, and you can see if those are stars up in the sky, or if those are.
It's really dark. I did not enhance these.
Yeah.
I grabbed them directly from my watching it.
Okay.
So you can't see. That's actually what it looks like on screen, but. It's like a big, like, grain. You probably can't see it through the zoom, Steven, but it's like a big grain thing.
It is part of the industrial facilities? Okay.
Yeah, and those are, like, lights on it.
Yeah.
But it was like they're in this giant, like, space gravel pit or something, you know?
Right. Kind of a gravel pit. Sort of industrial, kind of like similar to the Battle of Mustafar, but without all the bright lava. I mean, that's a scary environment to be in. It was just sort of scary because you didn't know where he was going to pop out. And if it's not for the lightsaber, you know, being lit, you don't even know he's there. And and then seeing him lifting him upright like this, he could have killed him right there in the spot. But I think he wanted to torture him. I think he wanted him to show him the pain that he'd gone through. And later on,
I know it was evident that there was a major power imbalance here, and it was extremely intense.
Did not have the Force on his side that day.
Yes, and I mean, and then you know. He sets a fire. Now he must have. I didn't catch. Like he must have hit a thing. Fuel.
He knocked over like an ore container. He had something that had combustible ore, you know, and he was able to light it up
with his lightsaber.
His lightsaber, and now he's going to turn the tide. He's going to make Obi-Wan feel exactly like how he felt when he was on Mustafar burning.
And he pulls him right into the fire, drags him around. I mean, I was shocked again and again during this episode at the viciousness of Vader.
Exactly. He just wanted to do he wanted to do revenge onto Obi-Wan for what he had done to him.
And then, I didn't grab shots of everything, but Tala shows up with a blaster.
Right.
To help him, because she's just abandoned Leia to travel alone to the spaceport, and she comes back and she hits another, I guess, container of ore
I think she hit
with
like
her
a battery,
blaster,
like she hit a transformer or something.
or like fuel or something.
Yeah, a fuel canister.
I thought it was fuel, and it caused a huge explosion. Hold on a second. And the stormtrooper starts screaming. Right? Hold on a second here. Where is the sixth one?
There's something about this scene that you don't like, and you're
no. I was gonna say they start screaming, but Obi-Wan's over here on the right.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was funny that I found this amusing. I actually like this kind of thing, like I was saying.
The whole run-around situation.
They could have listen, they came across the freaking galaxy, Steven, to find Obi-Wan. And Darth Vader and a squadron of stormtroopers can't get past a puddle of fire.
Well, there is a really big hill back there. They have to go.
He can't. Right. They can't. He could literally fly stormtroopers over the fire with his mind.
It's because it's sand. Is why Vader can't go around it. It's because he hates sand.
He hates sand, and then also we don't know what's
everywhere.
He could have gone on this side, but we don't know. We'll assume that the side where the viewer is a giant, like, fence or something they can't go by.
Right. Again, we're going to suspend our disbelief. We're going to say that it was impassable because they were kind of in an alcove there that was surrounded with
they were.
That high, a mound of whatever material, if it was sand or it was ore or whatever. And given the time, they're not going to take their time to try to go around this.
Right, and they didn't really climb on the piles, so there could be something where there's like, it's dangerous to climb on this substance. Or, you know what I mean, you will die.
Right, the whole thing could have been made of coaxium for all we know, right?
Right, exactly. So we're making excuses for why this fire stopped Darth Vader and all of these stormtroopers from getting to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
How many seconds passed in the whole sequence, though? Like how much time actually elapsed?
Right, exactly. But I that was that whole thing, and so then it ends with we'll skip back ahead. I'm sorry, that was the third episode, but we're back at Nur Base at the end of the fourth episode, and they escape. He escapes with Princess Leia and Tala.
You're gonna bring this one up too, aren't you? I know you're gonna.
And then and she has and Darth Vader comes and he's outraged and he's gonna kill.
Oh, okay, that scene, yeah.
What's her name?
Reva, right?
Reva. Thank you. I'm getting confused with all the names. He's gonna kill Reva, and then she says, "But I'd put a sensor on her, and it's gonna stay with her." And it was, lo and behold, it was the CD player from before. So it glowed red like Hal, like he said, and that was a great ending, I thought. I think it's good storytelling all around. They're doing a good job with it.
Yeah, it is setting up the fifth episode. I mean, they're going to find them. Obi-Wan's going to have to overcome something. At some point, we feel like there's going to be another battle between Vader and Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan hopefully would come out on top, because that will make the events seem a little bit different when they have their conversation in episode 4. Last night I learned, I was the learner, now I'm the master. So maybe Obi-Wan puts him in his place at some point here in the next 2 episodes. Probably the end of the 6th episode. That's to be.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, even for a casual viewer like myself, there was a lot to unpack. For somebody who's, and I've watched the films and stuff and maybe read a handful of the novels, but for somebody who has played all the games, read all the books, and also has seen all the animated series and everything.
I'm still catching up, actually.
There's a lot there. It's just cool how they're integrating everything, and they use a tool online to do that you created called Wookieepedia.
Well, and it's one way to, get the information quicker. Certainly, it's not going to replace watching a film, watching a series, reading a book. Obviously, a secondary source. We want people to go to the primary sources for entertainment.
No, but it's cool that, an actor or anybody can look up and say, like, you could watch that season and then say, what's up with Reva? and look her up on Wookieepedia and see if she was ever mentioned in a book or may have been referenced in a video game or a comic or anything, which is cool.
Well, I think Reva is entirely new in this case.
She is. But it's cool, like some of the other Grand Inquisitor. All right, we've been talking for a while, and I'm enjoying it. I love it. But let's beam down. Actually, we're not going to beam. It's not Star Trek, it's Star Wars. So let's take a couple of escape pods down to the planet's surface for Hit or Sith meme reactions. I just have a few fun Star Wars memes for everybody. You guys ready?
Why am I wearing what is that right there?
The Star Trek insignia is because Blue Banshee, who's a composer of animated scores and whatnot, she's in Pokemon and such. She came on and talked about Star Trek scores and how they influenced her, and so we talked about Star Trek soundtracks. And that was when she came on. And then I came up with the idea, Steven, that whenever I have a sci-fi episode or something, and someone comes on, I'll put them all. We'll come to the planet's surface, and I'll add another pin, like a Ghostbuster. Exactly. They may not be as. Exactly. And thank you, Ballers. I'm sorry, Ballers, we're not chatting so much, but we're so excited about this whole. All right, hold on a second here. Me, I'm not hungry, Grandma. Liar! Hey, that's funny, right? I'm giving that a hit. That's a hit, right?
My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, would make sure we were all fed. She honestly would feed us until we were not full anymore. Like, that was just every Sunday. Or every couple of Sundays at her house. So yeah, I relate with that. It's funny, and to use that.
I like how he's stretched out.
You don't even need the text. You can just see the image and hear the image.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good one. Yeah. All right, Paul, let's say if you like that one or not. In Return of the Jedi, how could the Ewoks have a dress that fit Leia unless they cooked and ate a woman her size?
Good point, right?
Good point, Ernie. You're laughing, so I'm gonna, and I think that's a hit too.
They're vicious little teddy bears. They will eat anything they have to in order to survive.
That's a good one. Okay.
Simon the Killer Ewok.
Yeah. No, I haven't. Is that a real thing?
Look him up. He's on the Wook. Simon the Killer Ewok.
Is he he's like the most vicious Ewok because he kills?
In a video game, he kills everything he touches.
Okay, look it up on the Wookieepedia. Simon the Killer Ewok.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, when you find out Anakin is only 9, then you remember that age is based on a planet's position with respect to the sun, and then you realize that since Tatooine has 2 suns, Anakin is technically 18.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to comment on this one.
All right, I'm going to give it a no laugh for you, but I laughed at it.
It's grown for me.
Oh, man.
More liars?
Grandma, look at my handsome boy. When will you introduce me to your girlfriend? Me, I am not that good with the ladies, Grandma. Grandma, lie!
You're really going with this one a lot. You find a whole bunch of them just liar memes?
No, there's only 2. I meant to spread them out more. I thought that was a good one, though. I couldn't not include it. Boys will literally choke their wives, force push their bosses out of windows, murder children, and join the dark side before going to therapy.
Who said this?
Well, it's just it's true. Like this guy. He did all those things. He could have seen a therapist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's the idea, but I guess I'm guessing you're saying no. They must have therapy on like a starship, right?
I don't know if therapy is addressed so much in Star Wars. I don't know if they.
I mean, Star Trek definitely they have therapists.
I mean, in Star Trek again, more science fiction than space fantasy. So they too turn. They look at it in terms of like they need a doctor, right? And we talk about the ailments and maladies.
Right. There's no doctor really on Star Wars. It's actually more like like you say, space fantasy. Broad strokes.
They do have brain rot disease and all kinds of other horrible things in Star Wars.
And they have back to tanks, like you said, which was another throwback to the first.
Medical droids. They tend to find practitioners of medicine for droids. They must be the ones that end up delivering, that medicine and so forth.
That was actually one thing I wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about with the show was Ned B. Is that his name? Ned B, the robot that is the droid. 2-1B?
2-1B gives Luke the new hand?
Yes. Or no, is he the guy who gives Luke the new hand? He's the guy who is, like, he saves Obi-Wan at the end. He carries him away. He's like, not supposed to really be sentient. But then he does, like, show that he's holding a weapon behind his back. I could have sworn it was Ned B or something was his name.
What was that on Obi-Wan? Oh, you're talking about the load lifter, the binary load.
The load lifting, yes, the load lifting droid.
Yeah, like they can't communicate in droid speak like traditional droids can. They'll only be able to communicate in binary, but they can have basic systems that allow for morality and things like that. So if she programmed that to have a morality feature to save him, or told it, hey, save this guy, then maybe it's commanded to do that. But again, it's a very basic droid.
AI is sentient in the Star Wars universe.
Well, some of the droids believe that they have rights. If you watch Solo, there's definitely droid uprising. There's also droid uprisings in Legends material outside of that, where a whole planet has tried to become, its own democracy or so forth. It's just a droid world.
Wow. Okay, that's I need to explore that.
I know, right? There's so much stuff. You'd be lost in it for days.
All right, hold on a second. If not years. All right. Padme, Sadme, Gladme, Madme, Radme, and Badme.
Well, they found enough adjectives that rhymed.
I give that a yes, because I'd like that.
That's nice. I like wordplay. Yeah.
All right, keep moving on here. You've seen this, I'm sure. All you need is love. All you need is love.
Yep.
Love is all you need. That's
all you need.
Love is all you need. That was funny back when it came out.
Right, because he's going to say it backwards, and then that's exactly how the song.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
That's more kind of. That's a life affirming kind of meme. That's just like, yeah,
it really is.
This is the way. This is the way.
Me and my homie practicing.
Seen so many social distancing memes in the last few years. I'm getting tired.
I know. It's funny. At the time.
It's real.
Talking frog convinces son to kill his dad. I don't know why I found this so funny, but I did.
Like ruin a movie, like it's that meme where you describe a movie's concept badly.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what that must be. Yeah. All right. General Hux always looks like he's watching someone not use a coaster. So that's a laugh. Good.
I can always laugh at Hux too.
He does look that way. He's mad.
Do you think you got
space?
him?
All right, hold on. We got one more.
Oh no.
He's more machine than man now. LMAO, I did that to him. Good times.
There's a lot of really good Obi-Wan memes. There's a lot of stuff where he's like not telling Luke. Someone shared a recent one with me where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to tell you, Luke is your sister. Here's a lightsaber. We shouldn't use this, though. Here's maces. Let's go find the guy and get revenge. So, the first scene where he's like showing him everything and telling him about his dad. He's like, you know what, we should just cut to the chase and kill him now.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it. Just kill him. We have Megumi ringing in. She's saying, chiming in for droid rights.
L3.
And so, yeah. All right. So, in any case, that is all of our ones. And so I'm going to say, Steven, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, I think we had a lot to talk about. I hope you were entertained, and I certainly was entertained.
I definitely was, and I think I'm probably going to have more questions. Would you come back on after the last episode?
Yeah,
to talk
do
about
this again.
the conclusion?
Yeah, there's gonna be so much more to talk about, so I'm totally down.
Totally cool. Thanks so much, man, and peace out.
All right, see you again. Have a great night.
And a 1, and a 2.
1, 2, 3, tennis ball, tennis ball. The world outside is making me so sad. But when I watch your show, it seems the world is just a joke. And things don't seem so bad. Your multi-personality is worth more than your pedigree. You're rolling with the punches like a champ. With all your skill, you're sure when you like the room when you walk in.
That's just a lamp.
Tennis ball.